Hello, 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 and good Monday to you. If you are here with me live, thank you for taking time to join me live. If you're not here with me live, that's fine. Just put hashtag replay in the comments so that I know that you stopped by and visited with me today. Today's topic, I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to give you the topic first. Experience real change instead of wishing for it. I'm going to say that again. Experience real change instead of wishing for it. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Yaminah, aka Coach Yamz, and I am the owner of Healing is Work Coaching. And I am passionate about helping women to stop doing shit out of obligation so that they can live life on their terms. And so, yes, let's get into this topic of experiencing real change instead of wishing for it. So, what is change? Change is when you go from doing one thing to something else. How vastly it changes, that's up to you, whatever the circumstances require. So, change typically occurs by choice or by force. It can be a life circumstance, it can be a job change, it can be relocation, it can literally be anything. And change is something that happens internally and it can also happen externally. So with external changes, this is dealing with life around you, however life happens. And those changes build a muscle so that you are able to navigate varying situations throughout your life in a better fashion than the last time you handled something similar to that. Excuse me. And then internal change is when you make a choice to maybe become a better version of you, an upgraded and improved version of you, so that you can reach some kind of goal. For me, I am working on going from being a full-time employee to being the owner of my business, which I am, but without having to do the full-time thing also. And that requires mindset shifting and learning lots of new skills that I have never had before or have never had to use in the ways that I'm using them now. And so learning how to shift with the way that things are, because I have to find the path that best suits who I'm becoming. Excuse me, let me get a sip of water real quick. And so the biggest problem with change is that as humans, we typically expect people, outside circumstances, other things other than us to change. And that is simply fighting reality. Hey, Jennifer, thank you for joining, man. And yeah, fighting reality, you're going to lose every time. You can't win because what's going on the outside has nothing to do with you. I mean, like, you may have to deal with it in some way, but you're not in control of it. And you have to be okay with that. And trying to control reality will have you frustrated. It'll have you resentful. It'll have you feeling abandoned, unloved, and everything in between. And so ignoring reality looks like being mad at that friend that showed up to that event on Saturday late, and she's always late. Why are we mad about this? And this is who she's always been. Hey. And then taking on too much at work. That is something also. You might be known as the person, hey Nando, thank you for joining me. You might be the person that is known to always say yes to whatever task is put on your plate. And because that is the person that you have allowed yourself to become, now you're frustrated with that. We ain't gotta live like that no more. We can set boundaries. We can get out of doing things beyond what we have the energy to give. And also, it can look like bypassing your needs. You have needs, you bypass them, and then you want other people to respect your needs. You got to give yourself what you want other people to give you. And so if you have ever been guilty of fighting reality, put me in the comments. I just want to know who's going to be honest, because we're all human and we've all done it. And so, yeah, we want to make change happen in your life. And I want to give you 3 tips to make that happen. Tip number 1 is to ask yourself why. Ask yourself, why do you want or need the change that it is that you're trying to make? Because at the end of the day, the why being strong enough is going to be the thing that keeps pushing you forward. When you are feeling really low, having that why written down somewhere that you can get your hands on real quick, like saving it in your pictures on your phone, is going to help bring that motivation back to you. Because sometimes you're going to feel defeated, deflated, just tired. And you have to remind yourself why you got into what you're doing. And your why is really strong when it makes you feel something. So make sure that your why makes you feel. And then tip number 2, pay attention to you. And this looks like some of the best advice I've ever gotten, which is to stay curious. Stay curious about everything, about you, about the people around you, the things that you're experiencing. Just stay curious. And while you're in the process of implementing whatever change it is that you're trying to make, notice the feelings that come up, and sit with them. Don't just say, oh, this makes me feel shame. Let me tuck that away and I'll deal with that later. Sit with it right then, because it came up for a reason. It's trying to tell you something. It's trying to give you that change that you seek. And if you shove it away, you're just prolonging it, because you're going to have to deal with it one day anyway. Go on and deal with it right there while it pops up for you. And then also you want to notice the habits that you have around the change that you're attempting to make. And this is going to help you become aware of maybe whatever it was that was going on right before you stepped into doing this thing that you were trying to not do anymore. They speak on this in Atomic Habits. It's a book that I'm about a third of the way through. It's a great book. I've had other things I've been reading. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about at this moment. But paying attention to what leads up to, or maybe what part of the day it is. Maybe once you get off work, you notice that you log off of your laptop, because maybe you work from home. You log off of your laptop and you immediately go and eat chips in front of the TV. Pay attention to that. That's how you're going to make the changes, by being aware. And a thing that makes me think about that is a saying that I've heard, which is, how you do anything is how you do everything. So just keep that in the back of your mind too. And then we have tip number 3, which is to secure some accountability. It doesn't matter how this accountability looks. It can be you telling somebody that feels like a person that is safe to share whatever you're wanting to share with. It can look like writing it down. It can look like hiring a coach like me. It can take any form, but it needs to happen, because something I learned recently is 95% of people are successful who have accountability. And so, change can happen, and accountability apparently is a really high booster of making that happen. And so, with having these 3 things in your life to help you make the changes that you're wanting to make, you will actually move the needle and reach the goals that you're aiming to reach. You will feel successful and accomplished because you said, I'm going to do this, and you actually saw it through to completion, which is then going to motivate you to repeat the process again, because you feel capable of doing this thing. And doing it over and over builds a muscle, and then you become an unstoppable force. So the suggested resource, that I want to leave you with this week is the 3-minute nudge journal. And you can Google it, or I'm going to also put a link in the comments. And it's a journaling prompt texting situation. They text you 3 times a week, every other day. And the idea is for you to journal for 3 minutes about they give you a couple of different options on what the topic that you want to journal about can be. So if I wasn't using my phone for this live, I could tell you off the top of my head, I know that I journaled this morning about work. and how I wanted my work days to look and what I was doing now that I could not be doing. It just gives you different things to consider. And I do feel like journaling and praying or meditating, however you get down, taking some time with yourself to reflect on what's going on is going to be what brings this awareness that then brings the change that you desire to see. So if you feel like you are in need of accountability, holla at your girl. Book a time on my calendar at chatwithyamz.com. That's chatwithyamz.com. I'm also going to put that in the comments. But yeah, I can be your accountability person. I can be your cheerleader that also is going to keep it real with you and kick you in the ass if you're playing games. So that's all I got for you this week. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back again next Monday. I'm here every Monday, 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if there's anybody you feel that could benefit from what I've shared today, share it with them. Everybody could stand to have some tips to make their lives better. So that's all I got. Peace.